In Sparta, childhood ended early, and boys began training for war almost immediately. At just 7 years old, Spartan boys were taken away from their families forever. From that moment forward, their lives belonged to the Spartan state. The goal was simple, but brutal. Turn children into fearless warriors. This system of training was called the Agoge, one of the harshest programs in history. Young boys slept together in barracks, watched constantly by older Spartan warriors. Comfort did not exist in this world, and weakness was punished immediately. Food was deliberately limited so boys would learn how to survive constant hunger. They were even encouraged to steal food from others if they could. But if they were caught stealing, the punishment was severe and public. The lesson was clear. Success mattered more than fairness or mercy. Every day was filled with physical training, endurance tests, and constant competition. Boys fought each other in brutal contests, meant to build strength and aggression. They trained to endure pain without crying, fear without hesitation, and hardship without complaint. Winter brought freezing nights where boys slept outside with only thin cloaks. Even basic things like shoes or warm clothing were considered unnecessary luxuries. The goal was to make them stronger than any enemy they might face later. But the training was not only about strength and endurance. Spartan leaders wanted warriors who could survive completely alone if necessary. Older boys were sometimes sent into the wilderness with almost nothing to survive. They had to hunt, steal food, and avoid being caught by others. But there was an even darker part of Spartan training that few people know. It was called the Crypteia, a secret test for the strongest young Spartans. Chosen boys were sent out at night to patrol the countryside, alone. Their task was to spy on and control the large population of Helots. Helots were enslaved people who worked the land for Sparta. Because the Helots greatly outnumbered the Spartans, rebellion was always a threat. The Crypteia was meant to keep them afraid and remind them who ruled Sparta. For young Spartans, this experience was meant to harden their minds completely. By the time a Spartan reached 20 years old, his training was not finished. He officially joined the Spartan army and continued living with fellow soldiers. Spartan warriors trained constantly, even during times when no war was happening. Discipline, teamwork, and loyalty to the city were considered sacred. Every Spartan warrior fought as part of a shield wall called the phalanx. Each man protected the soldier beside him while trusting the others to protect him. This formation made Spartan armies famous across the ancient Greek world. Enemies often feared Spartan soldiers long before the battle even began. But Spartan life came with one final expectation that defined their entire culture. When Spartan warriors left for battle, their mothers gave them a simple message: return home with your shield, or carried upon it after death. In other words, victory or death were the only acceptable outcomes. For a Spartan warrior, retreating from battle was considered the greatest shame imaginable. Their entire lives had been preparing them for this single moment. The moment when the shield wall closed, spears lowered, and the battle finally began. For Sparta, war was not just something they did. It was the purpose their children had been raised for since the age of 7.